The studio turned into a battleground when property expert Russell Quirk locked horns with journalist Benjamin Butterworth in a fiery clash over the Notting Hill Carnival. Quirk launched a blistering attack, branding the event a crime fest that should be banned, citing stabbings, assaults, and millions in policing costs. Butterworth shot back with equal force, accusing Quirk of exaggeration and insisting the criticism was unfair, even racially coded. The atmosphere crackled with tension as accusations of hypocrisy and distortion flew across the table, until the showdown ended with gasps from the panel. Watch the clip.
Did you know over 95% of our viewers aren't subscribed? Subscribing is free and helps us create more great content. Hit subscribe now and join our community.
So 400 arrests is not a particularly unusual number, and 2 stabbings is 2 tragedies, but actually among 2 million people in the streets of London, that's probably not unusual.
Hang on.
And so
Benjamin,
I think it's
what
misleading.
you're suggesting is that proportionally it's okay. Perhaps
no,
if
I'm saying that you put it in
you didn't have the 2 million people there, then you wouldn't have loss of life, you wouldn't have stabbings, you wouldn't have police officers being assaulted,
well, that's
you wouldn't
fine,
have
Russell.
the sexual assault, you wouldn't have the shops being looted. Just cancel it and stop it. It's a magnet for crime. It's an encouragement for crime.
I'm sorry, Russell, but I don't believe in cancel culture.
You can't cancel things like that.
If you want to the public's life and cost the taxpayer £12 million.
You cannot do that. That's impossible.
It's a Puritan way to look at the world.
It's the wrong thing to do. That's the wrong thing to do.
I totally
You have to allow these events to happen, and you have to police them correctly. There's some thought that this could lead to Hyde Park. I'm not sure whether that's feasible, but you do need to adjust these events. But you can't just ban them.
Yeah, but how do you police it?
Because we don't live in North Korea.
Do we spend £20 million and have more police officers? Do you really think that would stop the stabbings and the sexual assaults?
But can I just say that
it's not going to. It's not a policing issue. It's inbuilt criminality in that environment.
No, I don't.
Well, of course it is, because we see the numbers every single year.
I don't like it, but I don't think it's true. I don't think your point is true. Of course,
you don't think the facts of the criminality is true?
No, I think
that we've just read out.
The facts are there, and the facts are there for many big events, and you look to the police to police them correctly.
But hang on, I went to the Rolling Stones last summer. I went to the Rolling Stones. There were about 80,000 people there. I didn't stab anybody, and I didn't see anybody getting stabbed.
Well, let me put this to you. I think it's September the 13th was supposed to be this Unite the Kingdom march in London, right? And so we could be getting, I don't know, potentially, let's just say, if we're going to pick a number out of thin air, about 1 million people. Let's just say 1 million people turn up to it.
I mean, there won't be 1 million people, because that would be the biggest march ever.
OK, fine.
Which is how many won? 1 million won the Iraq War march.
OK, fine. All right. Well, let's do 500,000, whatever you want to say. I could be wrong about this. I hope I'm not wrong, because that would have meant it's kicked off. But I don't know if we're going to be getting all of these weapons arrests, the drug arrests, the sexual assault arrests that we are there. However, the media is going to cover those two things very differently, aren't they? We have the Times there, largely peaceful.
Apart from the 140
arrests. You've got the BBC just doing, celebration of colour this is, and Carnival, hey, fantastic, look at all the brightly coloured outfits, all of that stuff. Whereas I think this Patriots March, or whatever it's called, is going to be treated as this big far-right fascist event through London, and people are going to be told to...
Where everyone will be kettled, everyone will be kettled and arrested for dropping their phone on the floor, or whatever, as we saw in Westminster last summer.
I'd like a good Patriots March. That would be a really good...
I mean, the truth is...
It will be treated differently.
It will be there.
But it will be treated differently.
With the St George's flag.
The truth is that, if you were to look at Wembley football matches, for example, I don't know, there must be 80,000 people there. I dare say there are lots of drug offences or under-the-radar drug offences that happen in a place like that. So some of it is to do with the nature of the event, that people are out, having a fun time, for want of a better phrase, and so that invites that kind of behaviour. And so and there's lots of police, so there are probably more people in possession of illegal substances that get caught and doing drug dealing than would otherwise, but that's the nature of it. And I'm afraid you just can't live in this Puritan way where you say, because you don't like it, because it attracts some problems, that the 1.99 million people that have a great time
because it is largely, not entirely, but largely a celebration of Caribbean culture. Do you think they get a bit of slack there?
No, quite the opposite.
Well, you say that, but I do think, genuinely, again, I'm not saying we should cancel it. I'm not really of the view to cancel it. However, I do think, really, just looking at it on paper, if you had an event like this every single year and it wasn't a celebration of Caribbean culture, it would be cancelled.
No, actually, I think some of the criticism is quite racially coded. It's the idea of sort of angry black people that can't be controlled. I think that's the way some people try to perceive it when they say there's been so many crimes, when actually those crimes are relatively not that high. It doesn't make it OK, but it's the nature of 2 million people. And just think about the huge contribution it makes to the economy there. There'll be so many many small businesses from that community that will thrive on this weekend. It probably keeps them afloat all year.
Hang on, we're gaslighting the hell out of ourselves and the audience here. If we honestly think that just because there's 2 million people in a place, that proportionally there are bound to be, for instance, 800 arrests, loss of life, people being stabbed, police officers being assaulted, sexual assault, rape, people urinating in the streets. I mean, how many people come into London on a daily basis as commuters? I don't see people stabbing themselves or stabbing other people at Liverpool Street or urinating on people at Waterloo Station.
Yeah, but with all due respect,
Cross,
I think it's struggle to find a football match.
Or looting the local Costco or Starbucks. Just because there's a gathering of people, it doesn't mean there's an excuse for them to misbehave.
I think it's struggle to find a football match where people don't tee outside.
There is also the fact that everyone boards everything up like a few days in advance. They feel like they have to do that because they have to, though.
Yeah.
And that implies something, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm of the view that maybe it should be moved where it would be easier to police and you would neutralise the possibility of a big crashing event, because I think we're very, very close to that some years. And you've only got to think about Hillsborough and what can happen. You could have a lot of people who would die in that event.
And I think that is the real danger. They've talked about ticketing it so that you could manage the numbers.
Yeah.
I suspect it would be impossible because it's such a porous place.
The London Underground is supposed to be ticketed.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Next UK, your go-to for real stories and sharp analysis.